Once again, just thank you for the youth choir for just singing. And sometimes all you got to do is just sing, right? That's it? Is that it? Yeah. But let us bow for a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, we come and say thank you once again, Father, for being in your house. We thank you for just letting us be up, Father, to come to your house, Father, and be in the right line for you, Father. Heavenly Father, Lord, I ask that you just bless this message, Father, that it also touch somebody's life, Father, that they might come to the altar, Father, and ask what they must do to be saved, Father. I ask that you give them the ears to listen and the mind to learn, Father, and let them see less of me and more of you, Father. In Jesus' name that I pray, amen. All right, we will be coming from 2 Kings, chapter 20, verses 1 through 11. It's kind of lengthy, so. 2 Kings, chapter 20, verses 1 through 11. Just say amen, we got it. And it reads, In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amoz, came to him, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Then he turned his face to the wall and prayed unto the Lord, saying, I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now how I have walked before thee in truth with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. It came to pass, before Isaiah was gone out into the middle court, that the word of the Lord came to him, saying, Turn again, and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, Thus saith the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee on the third day. Thou shalt go up unto the house of the Lord. And I will add unto thy days 15 years, and I will deliver thee this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria. And I will defend this city for my own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And Isaiah said, Take a lump of figs. And they took and laid it on the boil, and he recovered. And Hezekiah said unto Isaiah, What shall be the sign that the Lord will hear me, and that I shall go up into the house of the Lord the third day? And Isaiah said, This sign that thou have of the Lord, that the Lord will do the thing that he has spoken. Shall the shadow go forth 10 degrees and go back 10 degrees? And Hezekiah answered, It is a light thing for the shadow to go down 10 degrees. Nay, but let the shadow return backward 10 degrees. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto the Lord, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backwards, by which it had gone down in the dial of Hazar. My subject I'll be talking to you all about today is, Your condition is not your conclusion. Today's age, we all have things that we go through. No matter how old you are, no matter how long you live, we all have conditions that we go through. In Webster, the dictionary, the word condition is defined as a mode of being or form existence of a person or thing, a state at a particular time. A lot of times we get so caught up in our conditions, we forget what God can do. We forget the God that we serve. We forget that he's an almighty and he's an all-powerful God. So whatever your condition may be, God has a little remedy for it, or he has a little special seasoning that he can just go and sprinkle on that to go and get you to your victorious conclusion. And in his word, he said that he will never leave you nor forsake you. See, I don't think they caught that. Right? I don't think they caught that. Yeah. He said in his word that he will never leave you nor forsake you. So what that tells us, that scripture tells us that no matter what we got going on, no matter what we think is the worst, God can deliver you out of it. So many times we have that time in our life that we wonder, how did we end up here? Or we wonder, what can we do to get out into our destiny. And this morning we are going to move you from your condition to your God-given conclusion. See, today I'll be dealing with 3 points. The first one, understanding your condition. First, we need to understand that God has declared our end from our beginning. Now, knowing that He has declared our beginnings, it helps me to understand because I was reading Jeremiah 29:11, and it says, "For I know the thoughts that I have think towards you." See, y'all not even feeling it. Y'all not even feeling it. Right there, I was going right there. I was going right there. "For I know the thoughts that I have think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of people and not of evil, to give you an expected end." Y'all not with me today. 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 See, this declaration gives you the peace to know that my end is not my beginning. I mean, my beginning, my end is not my beginning. Sorry. God has a plan for our life. A lot of us never understand what that plan is or what God will be taking us through to get to that. But we all have to understand that God has a plan for us. And He wants us to release our conditions and trust in Him that He will bring us to our conclusion. See, a lot of us think that our conclusion can kill us, or we think that our conclusion is the worst thing ever that we go through, and that we will never get past that condition. But always have faith that God can pull you and bring you out of your condition. Now, I know I'm jumping all over the Bible and I'm jumping back and forth, but I just need y'all to rock with me. See, now we're going to look at 2 more scriptures that shows us how we should release the hope in knowing that God didn't make a mistake in choosing us or what we go through. See, you have to deal with this condition. See, Isaiah 54:17. Let's see what my Bible reads. Who knows what Isaiah 54:17 means? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I'm just reading right there. I don't even have to go through the rest of the verse. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Always understand that the enemy forms against you. But the scripture tells us that it won't prosper. It won't work. It won't. See, my question to you is, what is the condition that the enemy has formed against you that pushes you back? Or stepping into fear or stepping into oppression? See, the first song we sung today was what? God has not given us the spirit of fear. See, sometimes we get so caught up in our condition, we let our condition control us, and we don't control it. Somebody will catch that. Sometimes we let our condition control us, and we don't control it. We give it the power instead of having our own power and not having the power of fear. Don't be so scared of your condition. And you take that power that is given to us and know that it's not your conclusion. Now, this is a very familiar verse. We on the second, but now the very familiar verse, everybody should know that as soon as they even hear it come out of my mouth, somebody should hear it. That's what I want to hear. Romans 8:28.
That's what I want to hear.
For we know that all things work together for the good of them according to the Lord. That scripture helps us to understand that no matter the condition, it's all going to work together for our good. Not just for my good, but for our good. And we also have to understand that it's for the glory of God. Because a lot of times we want to blame the enemy for our condition. Sometimes it's not the enemy, but the enemy like to use what God has for you and try to turn it around. He tried to make, because God gives you a condition because he wants you to see how great he is. But the enemy, that's when the enemy comes in and tries to attack you because he sees you in the midst of your condition and you're stuck in the midst of your condition. And you never can see it, but God will. A lot of times we need to smile in the midst of our condition. A lot of times we need to just have faith in the midst of our condition. A lot of times we need to just sit there and just let the condition happen. Because I think I just heard someone here when we was doing altar call that they just need to let the Lord handle it. Sometimes they want to, you know what I'm saying, they want to do it themselves. They got to let the Lord handle it. I'm not going to be here long. I'm not going to be here long. Trust me. We're moving on to the second one, which is praying for your condition. Now here we're going to talk about how to approach God in the middle of your condition. See, your approach to God is going to be important because you're going to want that response that you want to hear from him. A lot of us don't know what the condition of your prayer is going. A lot of us don't know that the condition of your prayer is going to open and close doors. I must first give this one statement, that in order to release my faith, to believe that my condition is an opening for my conclusion, it says in the text that in verses 2 and 3 that Hezekiah, he got up on that wall, turned himself and started talking to God. And he wanted him to grant him the time that he needed to become complete. And a lot of us let our conditions distract us from our prayer, trying to connect with God so God can get us out of there. Sometimes we like to just give excuses on why we can't leave that condition, or why we can't get out of that condition, or why we can't trust God to deliver us out of that condition. Now, unlike us, he didn't let that condition phase him. He went straight up to God and just asked him for him to help. Sometimes we all need to just go find that one wall, find that one point, find that one corner that we can just turn to God and just ask him to heal us, ask him for deliverance, ask him to keep us moving forward in the midst of our condition. Because a lot of times we'll be surrounded and so many things will be coming at us and we will not be able to stay focused and looking at God and praying to him and asking him to continue to work on us so we can get through on where we're going. And they said that Hezekiah was going to die. Basically, that's just what we get out the text, is that they said Hezekiah was going to die. But once again, didn't let that phase him. See, God says that the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord as the river of the water. So as I get to closing this point, remember to condition yourselves to pray. To pray efficiently at that. And I heard a preacher tell me that sufficient to produce a result. That's all I got out of that. It might sound weird. It might sound like it didn't fit in. But that's all I got out of that. It's sufficient to produce a result. Because if you pray, you're going to get the result that you need. If you pray, you're going to get that God-given conclusion. If you pray, you're going to come out a new person. You're going to come out a new woman. You're going to come out a new man. If you pray and really understand and really get through your condition, you will get the best result that you've ever had. Now, as we get to this third point. Growing up, I heard a lot of people in the church say that expectation is the breeding ground for miracles. The only person who thought that was real. The expectation is the breeding around for miracles. Is the breeding ground for miracles. Hezekiah went in expecting something from God. A lot of times we go in without expecting. We go in without expecting. Hezekiah didn't just sit there just to hear himself pray to God. He didn't just sit there just to talk to himself. He didn't sit there so people can look at him stupid. He sat there because he went in for an expectation. He went in expecting God to move. He didn't know if he was going to die. He didn't know if God was going to let him live. He didn't even know if he was going to be able to make it through prayer. But a lot of us really don't know that God is an awesome God. God is a miracle worker. He healed the sick and he raised the dead. So a lot of us fail to realize that. Because a lot of the people that he healed and a lot of people that he touched went in expecting. And they didn't let their condition bother their expectations. Because the doctor will tell you, you're going to die. You go in praying to God, expecting not to die. And watch you show up in that doctor's face. I'm still here. A bill collector call you, telling you your bills are due. But you turn it right over to God. Expecting for the money to come through. Expecting for that bill to be paid. And once they try to call again, it's paid. That lawyer that will tell you that you might go to jail, or tell you that the judge is going to give you the death penalty, or telling you that the judge is going to sentence you to life. But you go and pray to God and expect for it not to be as worse as they tell you. And then you can stare that judge in the face and say, I'm out. That's what you can do. I'm just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. Oftentimes we have to remember Hezekiah wasn't the only one with conditions. See, even though I'm in this scripture, this speaks for every other person in the Bible.
Yes, sir.
Because we have a lot of people that had conditions. Moses was murdered. He had that condition. And a lot of us don't even know. Jesus had conditions. But he got into his God-given conclusion. Now, as I come to this closing, no matter what your condition is, it's not your conclusion. Your condition can be drugs. Your condition can be lust. Your condition can be pain. Your condition can be a relationship. Your condition can be abuse. But God, like Will said, he like that but. But God has that final say so. No matter if you're in an abusive relationship, or no matter if you had a lost one, or no matter if you're addicted to drugs, or no matter what it is, God has that final conclusion. A lot of times we don't want to see it. We don't want to say it. We don't want to say that God is going to deliver us out, because we think to ourselves that we going to get ourselves out. And we expect for us, we expect to be so strong and so mighty that we can deliver ourselves out of our own condition. God says that it's not your conclusion. It's just a trick of the enemy. I like that one right there. God says it's not your conclusion, but it's the trick of the enemy. Like I said, the enemy can come just like that. The enemy can be in the midst of your storm, just like that, just to get you off track, just to confuse you on what your condition and what your conclusion really is. And we like to, and a lot of us feed into what the enemy says to us, because a lot, and I'm not gonna say that a lot of you are, because I'm a witness. I'm a witness of this. I was in the midst of a condition, and what the enemy was saying was sounding good to me. And I wasn't trying to listen to God. I wasn't trying to understand my condition. I wasn't trying to pray for my condition, and I wasn't even trying to go and expect it. Because what the enemy was saying was sounding so good to me. That enemy can trick you so much, it can deceive you so much, that it would throw you off track on what you was really giving him to. A lot of times you gotta bum rush your way in. A lot of times you gotta bum rush your way through that enemy, because he's a real good trick. He's a real good. He's the best one ever. Ain't nobody like him. And you will always be bound by your condition if you never trust in God. You never believe in God. Like I said, I am here as a witness to let you know that it's not over. It's not over until God says it's time. It's not. None of us never know the day nor the hour that God will come and give you your conclusion. All we have to do is be good servants and live in his word, and we can push through, and we will be at our conclusion. 2 Kings 5:10 tells us Elisha sent a messenger unto him saying, "Go and cleanse your flesh with joy, and you shall come out again into thee, and thou shalt be clean." Thou shalt be clean. Thou shalt be made whole. God gives you these conclusions to make you clean, to make you whole. God shapes you and he molds you because he knows what he's going to do with you. He just wants you to be a strong believer of him. He wants you to have that faith. No matter what life takes you, he wants you to have that faith. He wants you to trust. He wants you to believe in him. And this, and your condition is not his conclusion. Y'all heard that? Your condition is not his conclusion. Y'all not following. Y'all not following. I ain't getting nothing. Y'all not following. After he washed them in the Jordan, he became out clean. He became out brand new. And that's what a lot of us as Christians need to do. We need to go right back there, get clean, get washed new. And not saying that this process is easy, because it's never easy. He even said in his word it's not going to be easy. But you just got to trust and believe and have faith in him that he will bring you through and that he will bring you out. He will bring you through and he will bring you out. Always remember, I always tell my peers, I always tell my friends that no matter what, we gonna make it. No matter what the situation is, we gonna make it. We could be at the lowest time of our life, but regardless, we gonna make it. We could be at the highest point of our life, we still gonna make it. Because God's not done with us yet. That's not our conclusion yet. We can think that we
done, and we think that we can be on top. But God got a higher plan for us. God got a greater plan for us. And we all have to understand that. So remember, always remember, when you're going through your condition, always understand it, pray through it, and go in expect it. Because your end is just the beginning.
Thank you, my brothers and sisters.